Sid had stalked the guy for a little over 20 minutes. He watched him obliviously talking to his friends at a restaurant on Lake Walk by southeast bend of the fairway. His prey was a mousy little man in skinny jeans. Sid couldn't help but to snicker. If he were still in high school, he would have gotten a kick out of kicking the shit out of this guy. He walked to the boardwalk, having to cross through the strip malls that had shut down for the night. Sid didn't know what in this asshole's mind made him think he was safe enough to walk through secluded places in the city without watching his back. Something about that entitled thinking annoyed him. Sure, he was going to feed on this guy, take a little blood, but leave him standing. Now he wasn't sure if he wanted him to get off scot-free for his incorrect assumption he was an apex predator, top of the food chain, with no predators to prey on him. Normally, he'd just materialize out of nowhere and sink fangs into his neck. If he did it quick enough, a human brain would nope the fuck out and go into some sort of induced haze of euphoria, which left them completely at his mercy. From time to time, you may get a fighter, but it was rare if you managed to get them without them knowing. Tonight he had other plans. Tonight he would have some fun. Sid stalked in close to his prey and dropped his mystical cloak of darkness. The human didn't immediately see him because he was so cozy and safe in the warmth of his cell phone. Sid rolled his eyes. He impatiently waited for the man to realize he was standing right behind him. He walked behind him for a full 20 seconds before losing it completely. "Hey buddy, you got a light?" Sid said. The prey turned to him, nearly bumping into him because of how close he was. Sid was ghastly, a bigger than average man in a black leather coat whose hair was dark and patchy but thick enough to somewhat cover his head. His eyes were black, doll-like and reflective as mirrors. His skin was pale off-white and his face housed cracks and tears so numerous that he looked as if he had been broken apart but not put back together correctly. When the prey made the slow realization he was in mortal danger, Sid smiled. This was what he did it for. He brandished his fangs and watched the man run for his life. Sid bounded after Skinny Jeans, or what he liked to think of as a meal on wheels. The little human, despite his outfit and scrawny build, was unusually fast. Sid struggled to keep up. He was nearly out of the strip mall into the underground garage. There weren't many people there, but there were certainly cameras, enough to make it difficult to pursue if he got that far. Sid smiled when he had a clever thought. Hey man, hold up. You're on scare tactics," yelled Sid. He summoned the name of the first hidden camera show he could think of. The man in jeans slowed down. Of course he wasn't being chased by a monster. That was ridiculous. Of course this had to be a joke. He stopped and smiled relieved. Sid smiled too, a complete departure from his villainous visage. "Your buddy Leroy set you up," Sid said, getting in close. The man in Skinny Jeans' eyes went up in thought, then back to Sid. "I don't know anyone named Leroy," he said. "Oh shit, I guess you were the one I was supposed to kill," Sid said with a monstrous smile. He grabbed the man and ripped into his neck gleefully. He nearly spilled some of the precious vitae because of his convulsing amusement. When the body dropped, Sid went into fits of laughter. He dug into the seams of his jacket and pulled a phone. In not even 30 seconds, a black Challenger swung around. He didn't hesitate to toss the body in the trunk. Normally, he didn't kill these assholes, but in this guy's case, he couldn't help himself. It was too funny. Sid got into the driver's seat and a blonde-haired man in his 20s slid over. "Is he dead?" "As disco," Sid replied. The passenger chuckled. "Where are we off to?" Suddenly there was an explosion that happened on the fairway. Neither man could see it at the angle they were under the causeway, but they could hear it and feel it. Sid whipped the Challenger up to an elevated expressway and saw a car in pieces. Not quite wrecked, but destroyed. Through a fire, he saw a helicopter landing on the 4-lane highway. Sid abandoned the Challenger and ran through the gathering crowd of stalled vehicles. He didn't like to show himself too much around humans, but in this case, the moment outweighed his caution. He whistled to the closest human, who turned to see his broken face. Inhuman, but not so far gone he couldn't pass as someone who had reconstructive surgery. The human jumped. "Hey, what the happened here?" It was a vampire. A vampire got out of that car and mauled people. Sid instantly ignored that human and waded back through the crowd while reaching for his phone and dialing. After a few rings, someone picked up on the other end. Boss, I think we have a problem.